This meeting is being recorded.
What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., coming to you with another episode of the Author Showcase, brought to you by the National Black Unity Newspaper and JNF Enterprises. Can y'all see that? That's the current issue that's out right now. You can go to www.tnbun.com and subscribe to the newspaper, get it delivered directly to your home. It's a quarterly newspaper, a solution-oriented newspaper, and a newspaper that is whose sole mission and purpose is to be solution-oriented, but to bring you that news, those topics, those different things that you are not going to hear about in the regular mainstream media. The Author Showcase is where we bring some of just our nation's and just international great authors, writers, thought provokers, those who have delved into the literary world and bring us pieces that are enlightening, empowering, and impactful. And also they come by just to talk a little bit about what your brother, what your boy, talk to us a little bit about their mission, their message, their movement, and their motivation, what motivates them. And I love that because different different authors are motivated by different things. They each have their own individual messages. And I love having these conversations with these authors, just to hear them talk about what got them writing and being writers, being authors, and then the story behind the story, which is hopefully what we give you, the story behind the story, just to give you some insight in who these great authors are, who these great mind thinkers are, and just more than just the book. But some of the other great things that they're doing in the community, for the community, about the community, because that's what we're about at the National Black Unity News. We're about the community, and we want to give you those, give you those things that make us better. And we hopefully the Author Showcase is one of those things that makes you better by bringing you some authors that you might not ordinarily hear about in mainstream media, but they have a platform here to be able to come and talk about who they are and the great things that they do. So tonight is no different than any other nights. So we have tonight, I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to get into our conversation. I'm telling y'all, I'm just going to tell y'all right now, get ready. This young man is a powerhouse. And the book that he has written, the title in and of itself is gonna get y'all. So, hey, Timothy, I don't know if the Saints gonna be able to handle this, bro. They better get ready. Hold on to your pew. Y'all will get that in a minute. Hold on to your pew. But let me introduce him, and then I'm gonna let him tell us a little bit about who he is. He's none other than Brother Timothy Hunter, coming to us all the way from Oklahoma, I believe it is, isn't it, Brother? Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Yes,
from
sir.
Oklahoma, and you know I gotta mess with him. From Oklahoma, and got on a Knicks hat. Man, what?
already, bro. Like, I am hailing from Oklahoma, but I'm just a simple boy born and raised on the east side of Syracuse, New York.
Oh, okay, so
shout out to upstate New York, baby. I see you, man. Shout out to upstate New York, so. But definitely repping Oklahoma right about now. So.
That's good stuff. I love it, man. So once you introduce yourself to everybody, tell them just a little bit about Timothy Hunter and who he is, if you can.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you to the good doctor. My name is Timothy Hunter, and to make this thing short, I am a husband, a father, a king, a believer, and I am somebody that's just passionate about what I do. That's really, to sum everything up, I'm a survivor, you know what I mean? And I'm a fighter, and I'm a believer in the people. And I believe in each and every single person that I encounter that they can make the best of what it is that they are and have a purpose-filled life and to the best of their ability. Absolutely.
I love that, man. I love that. I love that. I love that. That's good stuff. Now I can't start this off without, man, this brother. If y'all haven't seen him on Instagram, I want y'all to go to Instagram. Of course, after the conversation here, I want you to go to Instagram, and I want you to pull this brother up, and I want you to be engulfed in the prayers that this brother brings to us on a daily basis. So, brother, if I can be humble enough to ask you if you can start us off with one of your Pew 13 prayers, if you can.
Absolutely, man. I'm honored. I'm honored. Most precious and heavenly Father, we're back. We thank you right now, Heavenly Father. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for this opportunity, Heavenly Father. We thank you for this platform. We thank you for the good doctor and everybody under the sound of my voice. We thank you for the frequencies that they utilize to join us on today, and the devices and the data plans and the Wi-Fi and all of that good stuff that makes technology allow us to be in the same room at the same time doing one unanimous thing, Lord Jesus. And that's to be here and to honor you and to serve you and to build your kingdom. I pray for each and every person that it might be struggling with anything. I don't care what it is, whatever battle they're fighting, whatever situation they're facing, whatever trauma they're trying to destroy. We thank you for just being in the midst of it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
There it is. There it is. The threefold amen. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening to come and on the Author Showcase and to have this conversation, man. Because I think what we're going to talk about, I think when people hear the title, they aren't going to fully understand it. So we're going to give them a little bit so that they can go and buy the book to get the rest of it. But I want to start, if we can, I want to start the conversation off, if we can, by asking you this question. What got you started writing? What was it that made you pick up a pen and paper and say, hey, you know what, I have something to say and I want to put it in a book?
Absolutely. Hip hop, man.
Really? Okay.
Hip hop did it for me. Did it for me at an early age, man. I wanted to be a rapper when I was younger. You know what I mean? And so being a native upstate New Yorker, man, we always fought for position in the rap scene, because when everybody talks about New York and rap, when everybody talks about rap, they talk about New York. And when they talk about New York, upstate gets left out, man. You know what I mean? Syracuse and Albany and Buffalo, Rochester, it's some solid, great MCs upstate. And so we've always had to hold our own against, the lower cats in the bottom of the state. And so it was just, that's what got me into writing. That was my first introduction into writing, was hip hop.
Okay. Oh no, that's cool. That's cool. Now, did you have aspirations to be a rapper? Was that something that you did and you wrote rhymes and stuff like that?
That's absolutely cool. Absolutely. Definitely, that was the goal, that was the dream. You know what I mean? And drop some albums, some mixtapes, get a deal, go on tour, you know what I mean? Make a lot of money. That was the goal. That was the goal, but life sets in quick, boy. Life sets in quick.
I know that's right. Now let me ask you this: how did you go from, like you were saying, with being in that hip hop type of thing, wanting to be in the hip hop, but then how did you transition into writing? When was it that you said, you know what, I think I want to be an author, or I want to write a book? How did that happen?
It was just when I really just decided to start journaling for myself, because I've always loved words
Okay.
since I was a kid. Like I know Hooked on Phonics has a bad rap, but I was actually hooked on phonics. You understand? Like my grandmother had the program and I was reading at like 3 and 4. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
So I actually was hooked on phonics. So I know a lot of people like, oh, you need to get hooked on phonics back in the early 90s and stuff. But I was really hooked on phonics. So I just really always loved words, man. And just having that love for words. I always wanted to learn new words. I always wanted to put this word with that word and see how we could structure everything. And then when I started journaling for myself, you know, I would step back and I would read some of my old stuff and I'd be like, man, this is pretty good. I got a lot to say. And then once I realized that anything that I put on paper, people can't interrupt me from talking. You know what I mean? Like, I love to talk, man. You know what I mean? Because I love words. And so if I put something down on paper, people can't interrupt me. You know what I mean? And then people just started saying, oh, man, you're pretty good at this. Like, you should do something with this. You should, you know, pursue this or something like that. And then it just became a process over the years.
Wow, wow, I love that. I love that because it's always good to, it's always different to hear how um how each of us as writers and authors got those beginnings. Because I know with me, it started back when I was in college and writing poetry. I love write. I love to write, and honestly, it was me. You journaled, and I wrote poetry. It was my way of getting in my what was in my head just out, whether it
Yeah.
was something that I was experiencing, something that friends of mine that were experiencing, or what I was seeing, what I felt was going on, and I just felt like I wanted to write about it, and it came out in the form of in the form of poetry, which I always say, hip hop is nothing but poetry put to music. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
is. It really
Yeah,
is.
hip hop is poetry in motion, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Poetry in motion.
yeah.
That's all it is.
And I love that. I love that. Now let me ask you that, how important to you was journaling when you were just writing things down? Because I know we'll talk a little bit about what you do in addition to to being an author, but how important was journaling to you?
Early on, it really wasn't.
Okay.
It was just something that I had to develop. It was a skill set for me. It was a
Mm-hmm.
skill set that I had to develop. And once I began to develop it, you know, I kind of strayed away from it. But it was going back and finding those notebooks and
Okay.
finding those years later
Mm-hmm.
that was like, oh, I forgot I was going through that in life. Or
Wow.
I forgot that I was even doing that. Or I forgot da 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 da. And so it became something that I was like, I need to get back to this guy. Who was that guy? Who was this guy that was writing this stuff down and taking note of it and documenting my whole entire life? And so now journaling is an intricate part of everything that I do. I
Really?
take
Okay.
notes on everything, man. You know what I mean? I have audio notes, I have notepad notes on my phone. You know, I got sticky notes, I got word documents, man. I write everything down, every single thing, man. So it's right now in this part of my life, it is absolutely a must for
Mm.
me to journal.
Wow, wow, and I love that. I love that. But do you think that everyday folks should journal? Do you think that they should journal and write stuff down?
I believe that you should document your life somehow.
Okay,
I
okay,
believe that, you know, for everybody's not into writing, but I think the
yeah,
technology
hmm,
is so advanced right now that there's no reason why you can't document your life in this season of your life somehow, some way. Like if you gotta record them and do Instagram posts or TikToks or Facebook, Facebook has become monumental because what happens is you post something today and on this date, 420,
uh huh,
2023, Facebook is going to say on this day a year ago. That's a
yeah,
documentation.
yeah,
You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's chronological order of your life. So I think everybody should document as somehow, some way. Journaling might not be your thing, but
mm,
learn something that's your thing that help you document your life.
yeah, and even like we said, even if it's not the physical writing. You don't have to write. You can dictate, like you were saying. You can do the audio form where you don't even have to just record. This device right here has changed the way that we do everything, and that's one of the reasons why I say that Steve Jobs was one of the greatest minds of our times, of forever, because he solved the problem that we didn't even know that we had. One, but he gave us the ability to do pretty much almost everything with a phone. I mean, putting all of that, like you were saying, documenting our lives. We can document our lives right on our phone, from pictures. You know, you go through your pictures in your phone right now.
Come on.
Of different events that you've been to, different family, events that you've had, because we all do. We all take pictures and then we all put them on Facebook or put them on Instagram. We put them somewhere. And it's really interesting that you say that, to document your life. They're actually, I think some kind of digital companies, they will actually do that for families. They will actually come talk with, the patriarchs of the family, different aspects of the family, and document a family. And they can have it to pass down for generations. And I thought that was just one of the, when you mentioned that, it made me think about that. It's just one of those things that we don't necessarily, I don't say think about, but think about it. Your children's children can see great granddad, great grandma, from physically see them, and then also audio, hear them, hear their words and everything like that. Because I tell you what, it would just blow me away. And I read, I was reading Dr. King's book called Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, right? And I lie to you not, as I'm reading the book, I can hear distinctly, I hear Dr. King's voice saying the very things that I'm reading off of the page. I was just like, man, I was just like, this is some powerful stuff. And I'm like, could you imagine if Dr. King back then, I mean, well, we have a lot of his speeches, a lot of his speeches that are documented and that we can listen to and stuff like that. So, he did document a lot of his life. But can you imagine, your grandparents being able to listen to them, or your grandkids, your great grandkids, because we have the technology now. Your great grandkids can listen to you talk. They can listen to you speak and everything like that. So I think that's a great thing for people to do, is to if you don't necessarily feel like journaling or whatever, but some kind of way where you record your life for the next generations that go on. So let me ask you this: if you had to describe your writing style in one word, because you've written more than one book, you know what I'm saying? But if you had to describe your writing style in one word, what would that one word be?
Free. Free. Like definitely. Like my writing style is free. Now, don't get this twisted. I don't freestyle because my style is free, but my style is free.
I like that. I mean? Like that.
Like, because and the reason I say that is because, like, I put my life on the paper. I put my life on the paper. So I'm controlling my narrative. I'm telling my story the way I want it to be heard. So therefore, nobody can ever come along and say, hey, you didn't say this, or you didn't do that, or you didn't. Anything that you ever see me write about, you can do your own investigating and try to find out if these are facts or not. You know what I mean? And so that's why I say my style is free, because I'm liberated. I'm liberated. I'm you know what I mean? I don't have, when it comes to my past life and things that I've gone through and things that I've struggled with, I'm very transparent with it, because I've seen too many great people go down because of things they've had in their closet or things they tried to protect or hold sacred, without being truthful about, no, listen, I had these things, I struggled with this, but now I've overcome and I'm over here. People want to hear that. America loves a great comeback story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you look at all American movies, especially Disney ones, right? They all got three things, right? They got a hero, they got a villain,
yep,
and they got a comeback story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, hey, this is my comeback story, man. This is where I shoot for the moon, because if I miss, I'm still amongst the stars.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Now, let's get into a little bit, and I want to start here. We'll start here.
Here we go. That was just the warm-up. That was the warm-up, Doc. Here we go.
Now, what made you want to write this book? And I'm going to let you tell the title of the book, but what made you want to? Because you ain't get me in trouble. You ain't get me in trouble. No. But what made you? What made you want to write this book?
Absolutely. So the title of the book is Tithing for the Backslider. Now I know somebody's head just spun. Like what? And that was the idea. That was the idea. But the reason I wrote the book is because it was a challenge for me. It was a challenge. I got challenged by my mentor, King Collins, during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I went through and I had my first major business breakthrough and my first major business loss all at the same time.
Okay.
All at the same time. And I talk about it in the book, so I'm not going to get into too many details about it, but the details of that situation is in the book. And so my mentor challenged me. He said, listen, why don't you write? You're a writer. So why don't you write something? He said, take a month and write a book. And I wrote it in a week. You know what I mean? I wrote it in a week, man. And it was a coping skill for me. I gave myself 24 hours to cry and vent and to get all of that out of me. And then, no, it wasn't even 24, it was 12 hours. Forgive me. I gave myself 12 hours. I found out that night. And then by 12 hours later, the next day, I was writing. And I just didn't stop writing until I got everything that I wanted to say out at that particular moment. And it just became what it is. It became Tithing for the Backslider.
And it's funny that you talk about that 12 hours. Because here's what I've believed and what I've come to learn about God. He gives us 24 hours to have a pity party. You can boo-hoo, cry, whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah.
You do it. You got 24 hours to do it. But after those 24 hours are up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and let's go to work. I truly,
let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. And that's truly what I really believe how God has been in my life. Any disappointments, any kind of challenges and everything like that, yeah, go ahead, get it out, let it out. You got 24 hours to do it. You can fuss at me all you want to, because I do. I fuss at God. I'll fuss at him and everything. Do what you gonna do. He said, and after you finish, after you done, pick yourself up and let's go. Because at the end of the day, I always know that he's who I have to go to, and he's who I go to in order to be able to get me out of where I am, whatever it is that I'm in. He's the only one that's going to be able to get me out of it. So, but I truly agree with you there with that, with the 12 hours, the 24 hours. You only took 12 out of the 24, but I truly believe he gives us 24 hours to be able to do that. I want to pick up on something you said. You said you wrote a book in a week. I want you to, for those that may be aspiring writers, that may be looking to say, oh, I got a book inside of me. And we see these different, because people have different ways of being able to write their book, different kind of things that they do. Can you talk about how you got into that mode to write your book, write this book in a week? because that's not something that anybody and everybody can do. Is just sit down and write a book in a week and then be done. So what was it that you did that enabled you to be able to get it done in a
week? I lost some money, man. I lost, you know what I mean? Like, I lost. And so don't do it like I did, man. I don't suggest anybody write a book in a week, man. Like, you know, yeah, some people might be watching this like, oh, that's a flex right there. Man, that junk burnt me out so quick. Like,
no, but see, but I like that though, because people need to hear that. People need to, authors, those that are aspiring authors, they need to know, hey, that's real. That's real.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Yeah, nah, that's real, man. Like, I was burnt out. So what I did was, first and foremost, I did everything myself. You know what I mean? So I wrote it in a week, I edited it myself, and then I did my own cover. Then I self-published in a month. I did all of this in a month, and I was burnt out, man. Like, don't try to write a book in a week, guys. Do not try to do it. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some time to allow your concepts to develop. Allow things to grow. Let them breathe. Let them breathe. Let your ideas breathe. You know what I mean? Let yourself breathe. Because I didn't give myself a break. Like, I was just going and going and going. You know what I mean? And so I didn't crash, but I came close to it. You know what I mean? And so once I recovered, I said I would never do that again. I will never, ever do that again. You know what I mean? It was not a good idea. Did I get it done? Yes. Did I get it accomplished? Yes. You know what I mean? Am I proud about it? Yes. Will I do it again? Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's tough right there. I mean, to write a book in a week. That's seriously grinding. That's seriously burning the candle at both ends. If you ask me, that's
it's a dangerous game, man. It's a dangerous game.
I want you, if you can, I want you to tell the viewing audience, if you can tell them just a little bit about the book.
Absolutely. So the book is a Christian mental health nonfiction. You know what I mean? And the reason why I had to create my own lane is because there is no category out there that I know of that is Christian mental health. And I believe that the churches of today, and when I say the churches, I'm talking about all the churches. I'm not limiting this to Baptist or Pentecostal or AME, CME, AME Zion, none of that. I think as a whole, the churches don't talk about mental health enough. You know what I mean? There are just some things that you cannot just pray off. I'm sorry. You know, I love Jesus just as much as the next person, might even a little bit more, because he's been better to me than I've been to myself. But there were just some things as human beings, some things that happen, some things we go through, some things we experience, that prayer is just not going to get it done by itself. Even in the book of James, it said prayer without works is dead. So the prayer aspect is the Christianity, and the works is the mental health. And all I did was combine the two together, man. And this is not, I don't want anyone to ever think that this is a self-help book. You know what I mean? This is not a self-help book, because I believe that you cannot help yourself. You know what I mean? You can put yourself in the best position, you know, but you're going to need to surround yourself around people that can help you. If I take these two hands and I reach it out to the good doctor, I can help you get up off a chair, right? But if I take these two hands and I sit on them and lift myself up, I can't lift myself off a chair. I can lift you off a chair, but I can't lift myself up. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why I say this is not a self-help book at all. So I don't label it as self-help. I don't put it as self-help, and I never will. This is practically self-reassurance. This is a confidence book. You know what I mean? There's nothing in this book that is a new concept to you. There's nothing that you haven't heard before. You know what I mean? I just put it in my unique own way. I put it so that the people that are like me can understand that you are not alone in this struggle. 1 Corinthians 10:13 said there's no temptation new to you under the sun. And so the battles and the struggles that I've gone through and the people that I love and the people that are closest to me, I put those in documentation so that somebody else can know you're not the only one out there. You're not the only one struggling. You're not the only one going through what you're going through. You know what I mean? And so the purpose of this book is to inspire you, to encourage you, and to remind you that somebody else has defeated whatever it is you're going through. And if nobody else defeated it, we know that Christ defeated this world. So just keep that in mind when you're reading this, because I don't want you to think this is self-help, because it's not.
And you bring up something that I think is really interesting. And I love the way that you categorized your book, because most people think that, oh, it's, like you said, it's self-help, or it's whatever other words that they use, self-development, those kinds of things. Yeah. But we get, we have to understand that it's more, it takes more than us to do the work, and the importance of having what I call it the circle of impact, whether it's those people Absolutely. Around you, that pour into you and you pour into them. It's my picture in the glass theory, which is where you go to a restaurant and you sit down at a table and there's glasses at every place setting, right? And they'll bring out a pitcher of water, pitcher of iced tea, soda, whatever it is that they'll bring out. The pitcher is used to pour in to the glasses. I said, and sometimes we have to understand, sometimes we're the pitcher to pour into people. Yeah. Sometimes we're the glass and we have to get poured into. And we get poured into by whether it's reading a book, whether it's using professional help, such as what you do, getting that professional help to be able to just navigate, just to handle certain things, just to navigate. How do I get through this in my mind? How do I get through it? So I love that. But I want to ask you this, because you talked about something, and I think we're gonna make some people mad for this, but I don't care. Y'all know I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna talk about the church, because the church needs to be better. We need to do better. Yeah. But you talked about the church not talking about mental health. Yeah. How is it and why is it in 2022 that the church, the overall church, we ain't talking one denomination, the overall church has an issue with not talking about mental health? Why won't it address mental health? Or is it actually getting better at it? You tell me what you think.
I don't think it's getting better. And the reason I say that I don't think it's getting better is because there are certain topics that are still taboo to talk about. You know what I mean? There are certain issues. And the reason I think that is the case is because some of the elders are still struggling. Some of the elders are still going through things. Some of the elders have not processed some of those things that they've gone through, because they've grown up in the house where what happens in this house stays in this house. You get what I'm saying? And so they hold that theory to be true. Now, I'm not saying you go out and put all your business on social media. I'm not saying you go out and tell your neighbors. I'm not saying you go out and call the police officers every time something go down. But if you need professional help to get through some of those traumas that you have been through, then seek that professional help, because I'm put it out there. And y'all can be mad at me if y'all want to in the comments. I don't even care. R. Kelly ain't the only one. R. Kelly ain't the only one. We done protected some uncles. We done protected some brothers. We done protected some nephews and some nieces and some aunties that have done the same thing that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly has done. And we ain't talking about it. That's the reason why the church is lacking on that subject, because the church don't want to go there, because some of the people still holding on to that trauma.
Come on now. I love that. I absolutely love
hey,
that.
I'm not holding on.
And that's what I love about you, because you are unashamedly a truth teller. And the only way that we get better as Christians, as the church, is we got to talk about it. We got to dig it up. As one of my favorite preachers, and he passed away now. He did this sermon years ago, but he said somebody's in a mess. We got to clean it up. You know, and the only way that we clean it up is by lifting the rug and getting the broom and sweeping up under the rug and getting all of that dirt, getting all of that dust, all of that ugly stuff.
That residue. Get rid of that residue.
Yeah.
We got to get that residue, man.
You know, and I think, and especially in these last 2-3 years with the pandemic, I think that's really come to the forefront. We see, you know, so much mental health has gone on, and people haven't been able to deal with it. And like you said, specifically, people in the church, people standing in the pulpit, all of them not being able to, and not understanding or knowing how to deal with it. So I want you to tell me, what was the purpose of rewriting Tithing for the Backslider, for the Backslider? Why did you feel like you were purposed to write it? Why did you think you had to write it?
Prayer, empowerment, and wisdom. Everything I do is tied to these 3 words.
I love it.
Everything I do is tied to
tell
these
them,
3 words.
Tell them what those words are. Why those words?
Those 3 words are part of an acronym called Pew 13. If you have not checked us out, man, check us out. We're doing a lot of great things, but Pew 13 is definitely our parent company. And so prayer, empowerment, and wisdom, like everything, I believe this is a formula for success. I believe this to be true. It has worked in my life. Even when I wasn't able to pray for myself, my mama was praying for me. My grandmama was praying for me. You know, my wife prays for me. You get what I'm saying? And empowerment, like we have to be empowered. You're not going to do anything great if you don't feel powerful. You have to feel empowerful. You have to feel unstoppable. You have to feel as if you can do this thing. Because guess what? If you say, come on, man, that was not planned. This is my first time seeing that shirt.
Really? You see that? Yeah, this is my
first time seeing that shirt. I need one of those, man, but I believe it to be true. I believe it to be true. You know what I mean? And wisdom, you have to exercise that power with wisdom. You have to utilize that power, empowerment that you have, and you have to use wisdom with it. Because if you don't, we seen in the Bible where there were some great brothers that had empowerment. There were people that were praying for them, but they didn't exercise wisdom. I'm going to say it's David. Yeah, the old brother David. And I'm going to leave it at that.
No, because that's so fascinating. And we're going to, how I want to go with this, because I love what you just said. And you tell me if I'm following this right with what you said with prayer, empowerment, and wisdom. We have to pray first. From prayer, we get empowerment. Empowerment, to empower something means to equip with somebody or something with something. And from that empowerment, we get the wisdom to be able to do what it is that we have been empowered to do. Am I right with that?
Man, I need to hire you to say this kind of stuff, man. That is, yes, absolutely. That is absolutely correct. You know what I mean? If you feel as if you don't know where to start with prayer. Period. Start with prayer. Start with prayer. And if you don't know how to pray, get with somebody that do. Reach out to them. You know what I mean? My grandmama used to have this thing where she couldn't say anything, she just moaned. She
yes,
get you a moan. Get you a rock praise.
That's in the grandmama. That's in the grandmama code book. That's in the grandmama code book. You know that, right? I'm
trying to tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? Get you a rock praise. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't do that, then just cry. Cry, man. You know what I mean? I don't trust people that don't cry, because tears are liquid prayers that God hears when we have no words. I'm going to say that again. Tears are liquid prayers that God hears when we have no words. So I don't trust people that don't cry. because that tell me you ain't got no relationship with God for real, and you're not tapped into yourself emotionally, because there's emotional relief in crying. Because let's just be honest with you, you know what I mean? There's something about the water. There's something in the water. They say wade in the water. Well, what are tears? What are tears? Come on, man. Like, oh man, water helps everything to grow. And then you got the sun, and then the sun and the water. And come on, man. Like, don't get me started.
No, this is good stuff, man. Wow. Water helps everything grow.
Helps everything to grow. Get that pillow wet, sister. Get that pillow wet, brother. Cry your eyes out, man. Cry it out.
Well, I know, I love that. Now, what do you want the reader to come away with after they've read that last word, that last paragraph of Tithing for the Backslider? What do you want them to come away with?
I want you to come away with restoration. That's what I want. I want you to have restoration. I want you to feel restored. You know, I want that process to begin. You know, is this a blueprint for your healing? Absolutely not. Because only you can create that blueprint for your healing. Right. Only you can put together that plan that's going to get you to success. This is just a template to help you get going in the right direction. You know what I mean? So I want you to feel restored. I want you to feel as if, okay, I do believe in myself again. I understand that somewhere along the line, I fell off. I backslid. You know what I mean? And when I say backslid, I'm not just talking about with Jesus or in the church or in your walk with God. You can backslide on anything. You know what I mean? You know how many times I done backslid on a diet? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can backslide in your finances. You can backslide in your marriage. You can backslide on your job. You can backslide with your children. But all you got to do is slide back. That's it. All you got to do is slide back. If you backslide, just slide back. You know what I mean? Our community, we love to do the electric slide. Slide back, baby. Slide back. You know what I mean? Cha-cha slide. Slide back. That's what you got to do. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. You know what I mean? Crisscross.
I bet y'all wasn't expecting that either. The electric slide on the office shit is. I love it. I love it. Now you said something that was really that I think was really key. Tithing for the Backslider. It's not just about the church. It's about every aspect of our life. Now, can you talk just a little bit about that and how important that is that we have a full focus on our life and not just that, this isn't just for the church. This isn't just for the Christian or anything like that, but that everyday ordinary person that thinks that, oh, well, that's not something that pertains to me, how it does pertain to them in those different aspects of their life.
Absolutely. And so that's a great question, by the way. Thank you. And so what happens is there are the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which is a federal organization, a federal agency, forgive me. They have created what's called the 8 dimensions of wellness. I call them the 8 dimensions of total wellness. And so in these 8 areas, there's physical, spiritual, intellectual, social, occupational, financial, environmental, and emotional. And these are the 8 areas that they deem worthy that you have to focus on in order for you to have a total, full, well-balanced mental health and life. And so what we do is these are the things that we talk about. These are the things that we touch on. These are the things that when I work with people and I work with clients and students and adults and families, I go in and I help them assess, hey, what are the areas where you feel as if you're struggling? Because I want to start in the areas that are important to you. What's important to you? And for everybody, most people pick 1 of 2 areas because they think these are the only 2 areas that matter. And that's physical and financial. Most people are like, as long as I get my money right, I can get on my feet and I can do this or I can do that. No, they're intertwined. These are the 8 Olympic rings of mental health, and they're all intertwined. So chances are, if one of these areas is off, there are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, or maybe all of them that are out of balance or out of whack. So we're going to start with the one that's important to you, but then I'm going to show you how other areas are affected because of that one area.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that, man. That is true, because like you said, I do think when you hear people talk about relationships, when they talk about individuals, they only talk about the physical and they talk about the financial. And we do. I do really think that, oh, if I get my money right, but there's a lot of people that got their money right. They ain't got a care in the world when it comes to money. But that mental ain't right, that emotional ain't right. All of those other rings, as you said, I love that those rings.
Come on, man.
Those other rings aren't right. And
absolutely.
And,
ask the lotto winner, man. Most lotto winners are bankrupt within 5 years.
Yeah.
Ask them, like they done came into all the money they need. You know what I mean? But everything else is not right.
Yeah, and even when you think about athletes, when you think about entertainers, not being they got access to any and everything that they could ever want in life, but they're not happy.
Yeah,
they are not happy in those other aspects of their life. You can see it. Absolutely. And I'm not gonna get into everybody else is talking about it, but we know that there are some people that are absolutely miserable when it comes to the other aspects of their life. They got that financial together, maybe even physically they might be fit, but mentally they're not fit. And all of those the other pillars and things that you talk about are just they're so important, because like you said, they all intertwine with each other. They're all connected to each other. I got a question for you. What does the title backsliding, tithing for the backslider mean to you? How'd you come up with the title, first of all? How'd you come up with the title, and then what does that title mean to you?
Honestly, God gave me the title, man. I can't take no credit for it. You know what I mean? Tithing is something that I truly believe in. The good Dr. Miles Monroe said, tithing is one of God's preparedness programs. You know what I mean? God uses tithing to prepare us for the next level. He prepares us for the next level of success, the next level of serving, the next level of giving. You know what I mean? And so I firmly believe that. And I also believe that everybody's a backslider. People get mad at me when I say that. I ain't no backslider. Yeah, you are. If you're not perfect, you a backslider. I don't care what you say. If you're not perfect, you are a backslider. There is something, some path, some goal, some plan, or some level of disobedience that you have in your life that God is like, this boy just can't get right, man. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? Yeah. I done gave you the blueprint, son. Like, come on. You know what I mean? And so it's just a title that just, God gave me. I woke up, I was like, that's it. This is going to shake the nation. We going to rock some heads with this one. You know what I mean? And so it just became that, man. It just became that. And for me, it's so much more than just a title. To me, it's something, is two things that I've learned. The first one is giving, and the second one is receiving. The first one is giving, and the second one is receiving. Tithing is about giving. You know what I mean? And so God so loved the world that he gave. He gave. So that tells me that the greatest act of love is giving. Because if the greatest act of love was eating, then God would so love the world that he ate. If it was drinking, God so loved the world that he drank. If it was dancing, God so loved the world that he danced. But God so loved the world that he gave.
Wow.
He gave. You know what I mean? And so tithing is about giving to me. So it's not just about money. If you think tithing is just about money, then that tells me you think tithing for the backslider is just about money. And then you think it's a money book. No, this ain't no food stamps in here. This ain't no money book. This ain't no checkbook. You know what I mean? This is about you and your obedience. Your obedience, you know what I mean? God requires 10%. So that means if there's 24 hours in a day, 2 hours and 40 minutes should go towards building the kingdom of God. That's tithing. If you have 10 pair of sneakers, you got 10 pair of Jordans, one of those belong to God. That's tithing. You got 10 designer wigs, my sister. You got 10 human Yankees. You got the human Yankees B17 A2s. One of those belong to God. One of those is God's. You know what I'm saying? And so it's more than just about money. What is your obedience of giving? What is your level of giving? You know what I mean? And then backsliding is receiving. It's receiving that grace and that mercy that God has for you to be able to forgive yourself, forgive other people, and to receive that next level of success.
Wow. That's powerful right there. That is truly powerful. I want you to, if you can, I want you to help somebody right now, Timothy. I want you to give the backslider. I want to give you that person that's battling, that's trying to battle back. If you can give them 3 steps to battling back from addiction, from withdrawal, and from backsliding. I know that's what you deal with in the book. Can you give them 3 steps just right now where they can start? They like, Timothy, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start with that. What would you get? What would be those 3 steps that you would give to them?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And I appreciate that question. The first thing you got to do is set boundaries. You need to set boundaries, period. And you got to set boundaries in the 3 nouns of your life. There are 3 nouns of your life. There are people, places, and things. You need to set boundaries with the people, the places, and the things in your life. The second thing you got to do is set a goal. You have to set a goal. I don't care anything about your dreams. Dreams don't come true. Goals come true. So set a goal, set realistic goals. Don't say, I'm not going to run a 10K athlon. It ain't happening, baby. It ain't happening. So I'm not setting that on my goal list. Not for the next year. Maybe 10 years from now, I'll go out and run a 10K, but I'm not running no 10K right now. That's unrealistic. You get what I'm saying? So set a realistic goal and then set forth an action plan. You need an action plan. And I want you to start at your goal, whatever your goal is, and I want you to work backwards. Think of the high school senior, right? The high school student, their goal is to graduate. Okay, so whatever state they're in, whether it's Maryland or Oklahoma, New York, or Florida, that state has parameters and requirements that are set for each student, no matter what school they go to, no matter what county they're in. You have to have 4 credits of science, 4 credits of math, 32 elective credits, 25 partridge in a pear tree. Whatever they come up with, you got to have all of these things. So now this is how we're going to break it down as a school. Your senior year, you're going to take these classes. Your junior year, you're going to take these classes. Sophomore year, you're going to take these classes. Freshman year, you're going to take these classes. Well, guess what? We're going to align all of this stuff in the 8th grade. So in the 8th grade, your goal is to graduate, and your action plan is to take all of these different classes at this level right here. And so that is how you achieve sliding back. Boundaries, goals, action plan.
I love that, man. It's not about the backslide. It's about sliding back. The slide back.
It's about sliding back.
I love that. That's y'all gotta hear that. 1, set boundaries. Now you said people, places, and what was the third P?
Things. People, places, and things.
So that's
people, places, and things. You need boundaries in those 3 areas, man.
That means
you gotta have boundaries.
That means some people gotta go.
Some people gotta go.
I'm talking about some people gotta go.
Come on now. Be delivered from people. Some of y'all need to be delivered from people. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody's asking for deliverance from alcohol and addiction and all this. Some of y'all need to be delivered from people. Don't answer that phone call. You ain't got to answer that phone call. Don't call them back. Don't reply to that text. You know what I'm saying? If that person's name come up and you just, then you need to let that person go. You need to let that person go, baby.
if the number you see makes you make the gas face, you don't need to answer that call.
Come on, man. You need to let that person go. This ain't their season, baby. This ain't their season. Make them a free agent.
I love that. I love that. So you gotta set those boundaries, y'all. But number 2 is set goals. That means we're in the second quarter of 2022. What are your goals? Where do you want to be by the end of the second quarter of 2022? Because for those that have listened to me for any amount of time, it's always about making you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. And you can't be better. You're not going to be better at all at one time. But like Brother Timothy was saying, you got to do it. You do it in phases. You do it in pieces. The first quarter was what it was. If you didn't have goals in the first quarter, then you want to make goals for the second quarter. If you had goals for the first quarter, then you want to take a look at them. I was talking about this earlier today, or yesterday, I'm sorry. You want to take a look at your goals that you have and ask yourself this. When you do an honest assessment of your goals, or what I call assignment, you take a look at them and you say, why, if you didn't achieve them, why didn't you achieve them? Were there obstacles in your way, or were you the obstacle? Were you the reason that they didn't get done? You got to sit with that and be honest with yourself. So we're in this second quarter. By the end of June, where do you want to be? We'll be half of this year will be over by June. So where is it that you want to be by midway through 2022? And then you can look towards where you want to be at the end of 2022. Where is it that you want to be? What do you need to do in the third quarter to get you where you want to be by the end of the year? And then what you need to do in the fourth quarter to close it down, to be where it is that you want to be. I liken it to the 100 meter, the 4 by 100, where you have one teammate runs 100 meters. You got 4 guys or 4 women that run 100 meters. You got your first leg, your second leg, third leg, and your fourth leg. What are you doing in that first? The first leg is just to get your rhythm, get going. The second leg, that's when you know what you got to do. You got to hit your stride. That third leg is when you start to really kick it in gear, where you say, you know what, I know what I need to do. I know what I got to do. And that fourth leg is all about the finish. It's all about finishing strong. It's all about, look, I know what I need to do. I know where I need to be, and I'm going to finish the end of the year strong. I promise you. If you do what Brother Timothy just said, you set boundaries, you set goals, and you have an action plan to implement in order to be able to get you where you want to be. By the end of 2022, you'll be like, man, I'm a new person. I'm a totally new person because I've accomplished what it is, those things that I wanted to accomplish this year. And then you do the same thing next year. You'll do the same. You now develop your template for what you need to do each year. And it becomes, I'm not going to say it becomes easier, but you at least have the template for what it is that you need to do and that you want to do. So I love that, brother. That is absolutely phenomenal. Now I'm asking this, why is it important for us to deal with and to address our spirit man as well as our spiritual mentality? Because I read that, what you said that. So I want you to, if you can talk a little bit about
that. Where'd you read that at, man? That boy good.
I do my my homework, my brother.
Where'd you read that at, man? Yeah, that's the loop ball right there. He got me with that one. I don't know, you know. But your spirit man is going to be your connection to the higher. It's going to be your connection to the higher. It's going to be the thing that fuels you. You have to have something higher than you. You have to have something more than you. You have to have something more than you, because you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. You're not. I'm just going to be honest with you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you.
Yes, sir.
You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, you have to have something greater than you. And for me, it's God. For me, it's God. For some people, it's money. Good luck to you. But you know what I mean? For some people, it's addiction. Good luck to you. Not the healthiest, but good luck to you. You know, so you have to have that. And then for your mental health, like you have to, your crown has to be right. We can't say we're a part of the kingdom. We can't say we're part of the kingdom and our crown is messed up. And what does the crown sit on? The crown sits on our mentality, right? And so what happens is this: anything that a king says is law. Anything that a king says is law. That's why they have jokers and gestures to come and make the king smile and make him happy, because nobody wants an angry king making an angry law. You get what I'm saying? Because that's all up here. So what you have to do is you got to make sure you got your mind right so that you can continue to get everything else right in those different areas, so that you can not only lead people the right way, but you can inspire the people the right way, and you can do what it is that God has for you to do in an obedient fashion. I hope that's what you're looking for, man.
No, brother, that you have not disappointed. That is absolutely phenomenal. That is, I'm not looking for anything but genuine conversation from you. And I know
absolutely.
you're gonna
I know.
come
I'm
with
you,
it
man.
to
I'm
make
messing
this what
with
it
you.
is.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's all love. It's
So,
all love. But no, seriously, man.
no, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Can you? What's next for you? What do you have work? Are you working on anything now, or you have any events that you got coming up that people can that you can talk about, that folks can come to or deal with, or even support?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, great question. I appreciate that as well. I just finished up my first book with my son. And so we're
Yes,
going to be
yes.
looking to get that taken care of, get that out there to the people. It's called Joshy's First Day of First Grade. Joshy's Guide to First Grade. Forgive me. Joshy's Guide to First Grade. It's a children's book. And it's about, making friends. It's about adjusting. It's about just those transition periods that children go through. You know what I mean? And so that's going to be out later this year. And then I also have Most Precious and Heavenly Father, which is a prayer book that I've been working on. And so I told you guys, I'm not writing no more books in a week. You know what I mean? So these things they're coming along. So Joshy's Guide to First Grade is actually finished. We just have to put the defining touches on that and get that out there to the people. And Most Precious and Heavenly Father, we are working on that. And that's going to be a prayer book. That is 60 plus prayers for your mental health. And so those are the two things we have coming up. We also, you can find us on TikTok, at official Pew 13. We're always there. We're always on IG, Facebook, all the social media platforms. You know what I mean? And we also have the website, www.pew13.com, where you can actually reach us, and you can book a call and get on the line with us, and we can talk about some of this stuff and see how we can help you.
I love that. Can you really quickly? Can you just talk a little bit about, because you mentioned it, Pew 13, and what your company is about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pew 13 is Christian mental health. Point blank and period, short and sweet to the point. It is Christian mental health. It is mental health that is our own. It is our own. You get what I'm saying? It's something that is true to Christianity. You know what I mean? Because we don't talk about that often enough. You know what I mean? And so that's the first facet of Pew 13 is Christian mental health. The second facet of it is youth mental health, right? And so we don't talk about the youth nearly as much, especially with the post-pandemic, post-COVID, post all the quarantine, all of this stuff. Some of these youth are messed up, man. Some of these youth are messed up. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Be mad at me if you want to, but stop letting your children go to virtual school. Send them babies back to school. Put them back in the building. They need that social aspect. The playground and recess are the original social media. They are the original Facebook. They're the original Instagram. Let's get these kids back out here so that they can socially thrive, because they're going to have to live in a world where they socially thrive. So if you're calling yourself keeping your baby at home, letting them do virtual, you are messing them up because your home is not equipped for education. Your home, unless you have a designated education room or a designated education office or closet or something like that, most people's homes are set for comfort. Our homes are set to make us feel comfortable so that we can relax and enjoy our time away from the outside world. There is no way these babies are going to be able to focus in the middle of comfort. Get them into an education setting and surrounding so that they can be able to thrive. Rant over. I had to put that out there.
And I love you for that, because we do have to understand that we do need our kids and us as well as adults need a certain amount of socialization. We can't. That, I think if the one negative aspect of technology has been, it has dehumanized us to the mental communication of dealing with each other. We think that you can go to any family outing, and now the thing is, how many people do you see on their phones?
Come on.
As opposed to having conversations with each other, talking to each other. Technology is good, it's great for what it is, but there's nothing like that community, that verbal community, that physical intimacy of being around other people and being around people, surrounding certain people, like-minded people, good people. There's a reason why that when in the prison system that they put people in solitary confinement. There's a reason why they do that. There's a reason why they do it, y'all. So we got to understand that this element can never go away. We do our children a disservice when we don't teach them social skills, when we don't teach them how to effectively communicate with other people and to interact. And the only way that they're going to get that, especially being little, being kids, is by being interacting in school and learning those skills. That's where they learn those skills. That's where they hone those skills. And you all are there to just enhance it, and everything like that. So, brother, I want you to, if you can, and we'll end it like this, because I want you to talk to, like you said, I want you to talk to that individual that thinks that they have backslidden. I want you to talk to that person who wants to slide back and feels as if God won't hear them. I want you to talk to them right now. And if you can, just for these last few minutes, I'll let you close with that. And then, we'll talk about people purchasing backsliding for the tithing for the backslide.
I see what you did there. Backsliding for the type backsliding, man. We might be on something. No, but seriously, guys, one of my favorite scriptures is Psalm 27. And in Psalms 27, David says, "When my mother and my father forsake me, the Lord will take care of me." You got to believe in something, family. You got to believe in something. You cannot sit around and let these thoughts fester into your life. You got to get rid of that stinking thinking. You got to get rid of that stuff, because that stuff is going to come in and it's going to set on you. And the enemy loves an idle playground. What is the idle playground? Your mind. He gets into your mind between these two ears. If he can have what's in here, then he's got you. Remember when he showed up in the book of Genesis, what did he do? He didn't touch Eve. He didn't force Eve. He didn't make Eve. He talked to Eve's mental capacity for understanding. When he talked to Samson, he talked to Samson's mental capacity for understanding. He attacked David's mental capacity for understanding. Wow. This is what he does. He attacks us mentally. He wants up here. He don't care nothing about your heart, because he knows that if he can get your mind, then he's going to have your heart, because all thoughts, all actions begin as thoughts in your mind. You'll sit there, and some of you might be thinking right now, man, I got to use the bathroom, or man, I'm thirsty. You're thinking that first, and then you get up and go get something to drink, or you get up and go and use the bathroom. And it's the same way spiritually. You sit there and you think about something. I'm not worthy. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then guess what's going to happen? You won't. So we got to get rid of that stinking thinking. You get what I'm saying? Your brain is a muscle. You got to control that muscle just like you do your eyelids when you blink, or you breathe in when you breathe in, or when you flex your muscle. You got to do the same thing with your mind. So you got to meditate. You got to pray. You got to get in that word. You got to get around like-minded individuals. Get around people that are going to speak positivity in your life, that are going to uplift you and not bring you down, not going to look at all the negativity in the world. If you want to break a loaf of bread, then go bake that loaf of bread. Have you been to Walmart lately? There's a whole aisle of loaves of bread, and people are still baking bread. So what? Somebody else done did that idea. They can't do it like you do it, baby. So what? Somebody done created a concept. They can't create it like you created it, baby. So this is your time. This is your world. This is your life. This is your mind. This is your spiritual walk. You manifest that thing. You use prayer. You use empowerment, and you use wisdom, and you can make those things manifest. To God be the glory. I'm telling you. Whew, don't get me started, Doc. You about to get me started.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
Let's go, man.
You do that thing. And I'm gonna use his words on that. And I'm gonna have you, after I say this, I'm gonna have you give your contact information one more time. Amen. Yeah. Amen. And amen. I love it. I love it, Doc. Can you just give the contact information where they can go purchase the book at, and how they can connect with you to have you come and speak out. And then I want you to talk a little bit too, but you have a curriculum that you have specifically for schools and stuff like that. If you can talk a little bit about that.
I do. Absolutely. And so we'll talk about the curriculum first, and then I'll close with the contact information. The curriculum is a 22-week course, and it's called 8 Dimensions of Total Wellness, also life skills. And so these are different areas that, from me in my professional career, being in the high schools, these are things that I've realized and noticed that I needed to survive post 18 that they're not talking about pre-18. And so the school allowed me to come in and to be able to present these things to these children. And we talk about everything from mental health to financial literacy. Today, we talked about credit building, credit establishing. You get what I'm saying? We talk about everything under the sun that the school just didn't teach me, that I had to learn by failing. We're trying to implement and give to these children before they go out and make these mistakes and have to dig themselves out of this ditch that some of us are still digging ourselves out today. And so that's called the Life Skills course. You can go over to the website, www.pew13.com, and you can, like I said, get on the call with me. We can talk about that and talk about the curriculum. Also, if you want to purchase the book is available on the store, on the website, www.pew13.com, or it's available on Amazon as well. If you go to Amazon and type in Tithing for the Backslider, you'll see that we have the Kindle version, we have the paperback version. We also have merchandise on Amazon. So we have t-shirts, and we also have a Linktree store that's on the website where you can go and find some of our other stuff. You go to the website, and in the top right corner, there's a store link. You can click on that. And I also, something very special for everybody listening on tonight. This is hot off the presses, Doc. This is hot off the presses. I've been working with Bruce Francois down in Orlando, Florida, and he has an online course called How to Unleash Your Potential. And I told him that I wanted to give you guys something special. And he's going to, for the next 7 days, if you go over to that website, and I'm going to give you the website, Doc, that way you can go ahead and put it in everything that you need to. Right. And if you go over there right now and you use the code Pew13, If you use the code PEW13, you will get the course totally free. Totally free, 100% free. This is a $99 value, and you're going to get this course totally 100% free if you use the code PEW13 tonight, and you'll be able to have that for the next 7 days. And it's a powerful course. The course is available on our website. If you want to, you can get on the website, scroll to the bottom of the course, scroll to the bottom of the website, and you can find that course. But like I said, if you click on there tonight, if you go on there tonight and you type in PEW13 in the discount code, you will get this course 100% free. It will not cost you anything. It will not cost you anything. And I promise you, this course will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. It has changed my life. There are more than 70 concepts and principles in this course that are going to help you to take your life and unleash your potential and go to the next level. You will be able to go to the next level. So that is exclusive right here because of this call right now. So I have not released this to the world yet. I've only released it right here on this platform with the great Dr. Leroy. You know what I mean? I told the brother, I said, I need something special to give to the people. And he said, I got you. So go in, guys, type in PEW13 in the discount, and you will get this 100% free, no charge to you. It's an online course. You will have unlimited access to it. Unlimited access to it. And it's not an online course where you read stuff and da-da-da-da. This is video animation with the concepts and the principles right there in front of you. So you can turn this on. You can watch it while you're in the living room. You can watch it while you're sitting outside your car before you go in your house and have to go and deal with your family, put on another hat. You can watch it on your lunch break. You can watch it while you're in the bathroom, fronting like you're on the toilet. You can watch this right there. You can watch it on the treadmill, wherever you need to watch it, 100% free.
I love that. I love that. So y'all better go on and do that. I will have it in the chat for you so that you can actually take advantage of that and get you some prayer, get you some empowerment, get you some wisdom. It'll do you some good. And you want to have, because your prayer, your empowerment, and your wisdom gives you the mental capacity to understand. I'm gonna say that again for y'all. Get you some prayer, get you some empowerment, get you some wisdom, because it equips you to have the mental capacity to understand. And when you have that understanding, that mental capacity of understanding, you can do as Jesus did when he was tempted in the desert. And the only thing he did was come back. Like you just talked about, the mental aspect, the devil couldn't deal with the mental aspect, the mental capacity of Jesus, man. You gonna get me shouting up in here for it. I love it. I love it. This, I told y'all, I'm done, y'all. I'm done. This is Brother Timothy Hunter. Brother, I can't thank you enough. This has been absolutely phenomenal. This has been wonderful. I appreciate you taking time and joining us on the Author Showcase. I thank you for what you poured into the audience today. This has been some meat that stick to your bones. That sticks to your bones, because hopefully people can take what they learned here today about tithing for the backslider to understand that it's not about money. It's not about money. But even in our backsliding, whatever that backsliding looks like, you can slide back. Get the slide back. I'm trying to put that hashtag in the comments there. Slide back. Just slide back. Just slide back. I'm looking to slide back. So, Brother Timothy, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. This has been another episode of the Author Showcase, brought to you by the National Black Unity News. You can see Brother Timothy in the latest issue of the Author Showcase that's in there. You can go to www.tnbun.com and subscribe, and you can go over to the YouTube channel and you can see all of our episodes of the Authors Showcase. You go to the National Black Unity News YouTube page, you'll see our logo. You'll see the logo there, so you'll know what to look for. But you can see all of the prior episodes of other showcase authors, these conversations just like this that we have. And this one was, did not disappoint, just like none of the others haven't. It just gives me an honor to be able to have these conversations with authors, to be able to give people just a little bit, hopefully, of who these authors are. And y'all see why I have these great conversations and why these individuals are so worthy to be able to talk to and to be able to be put on platforms like this, so that their voices can ring globally, that they can ring out there, and and that their mission, the message, the movement and motivation resounds all over the place, because they make people better. And as y'all know, as I always say, it's 2022, it's building season. What are you building? How are you building yourself in 2022? And I promise you, if you do those things that Brother Timothy talked about, I promise you, you'll be better by the end of 2022 than you were at the beginning of 2022. It's Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, the Author Showcase. We'll see you all next time. It's been a pleasure. We'll talk to y'all soon.